Hello there you guys, welcome to one of my live videos, and today I'm just going to be officially updating you on some more current transfer rumours and gossip, as we always do on this channel every day, giving you the latest news of course of what players are linked with Manchester United. So this is a big week ahead for Manchester United. I do expect Manchester United to complete two signings this week. I do believe that some of the players are back in training today, but we do know that we do go on tour in the next 6 or 7 days time and all that. So hopefully, we can get two deals concluded this week. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer did basically say last month, I think, was it, or a couple of months ago, he did say he wanted the majority of our transfer business completed by today. But Ole Gunnar Solskjaer now will look to bring at least 3 more new additions to the squad. Obviously, we've already got 2 players on the board so far this summer. Obviously, we've got Daniel James for £18 million. Obviously, we've got Wan-Bissaka in deal with around £50 million and all that. But obviously, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer will want to build on that. And I do believe now that's took Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's net spend on them 2 players up to around £68 million. Obviously, they are our first 2 signings under the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer era. But now, for the majority of this window so far, we have been mainly focusing on the incomings and all that. But I think also Manchester United now have got to turn their attentions more on the outgoings, because I do believe we need to sell players, to help generate funds and rebuild the squad. Because obviously, reports came out a couple of weeks ago saying that allegedly, we've only been given £100 million to spend this summer. And obviously, we do know that £100 million is nowhere near enough, to address the deficiencies in the squad. Obviously, it's not enough, for us to bring a number of players that we do want in. So I think we do need to sanction some players off, to help us generate funds and rebuild the squad and all that. So it did provide a reason why it said we've only been given £100 million, because obviously, we're not in a Champions League football for next season. But I thought initially, we'd been given around £200 million to spend. But now I do believe Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's priorities now will be, to add some reinforcements in that midfield, and also, want to recommend a central defender to come in. But yeah, there's still lots to address in the squad, without a shadow of a doubt. But we have got to get the right players to Manchester United this summer, that can elevate us forward and, get us back, to being a competitive elite level football club. And obviously, we need to see vast improvements, going on into this season, because last season was very, very disappointing. We finished 6th. We didn't win any silverware, but we haven't won any silverware in the past couple of seasons and all that. But I do believe our expectations going on into this season probably will be to finish in the top 4. I think we are at least a couple of years from winning the league or mounting any kind of title challenge up. But I do believe anyway in the next couple of seasons, our aspirations, will be that top 4 and all that. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's obviously, worked out his transfer strategy for this summer. Obviously, he wants to recommend a number of young players to come in that can grow, develop and emulate into superstars. And I do believe, we are moving the way for the policy, of that signing them well established players. But quite a few people have suggested that, we should be sensible with our recruitment this summer. But Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's looking to build a squad, worthy of the club's history and all that. But there is so many players on our current agenda. But I hope we can get 2 signings, completed this week. So now I will give you a bit more additional information in regards to Sean Longstaff from Newcastle. Now, reportedly, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has instructed the Manchester United board, to get a deal completed for Sean Longstaff sometime this week. Now, I'm reading reports up in the last couple of days about Sean Longstaff, and it does reportedly say, I do believe there's a lot of credibility in Sean Longstaff, coming to Manchester United. It said reportedly, we are preparing to put a bidding in. Well, we're prepared to put an opening offer in of around £15 million with add-ons included and all that. So he's a cheap solution, is Sean Longstaff. I do believe Newcastle want in the region of around £20 million plus add-ons. I do believe Manchester United have been in talks with Newcastle over getting a deal concluded for Sean Longstaff. But I think we have been given a boost in our pursuit of Sean Longstaff, following the departure of Rafael Benitez. Sean Longstaff is only had 21 years of age, so he's still got a hell of a lot of development in him. Obviously, he's British, and obviously Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wants to recruit British talents to Manchester United this summer. Obviously, last season was Sean Longstaff's first season in the senior squad with Newcastle. He made his debut in December of last year. He recently signed a 4-year contract with Newcastle, so he's under contract with them until 2022. Obviously, Sean Longstaff, I still believe, is recovering from a knee ligament injury. He had sustained this back in March and all that. So obviously, he didn't play the last couple of months of last season, due to this bad injury he had currently sustained. But I do believe he's one of our priority targets, Sean Sean Longstaff, and obviously Sean Longstaff is going to be a cheaper solution than Bruno Fernandes from Sporting Lisbon and all that. Even though Bruno Fernandes is one of our main priority targets, so I probably do believe that looking like our next two signings are going to be Sean Longstaff and Bruno Fernandes from Sporting Lisbon. Sean Longstaff obviously began his career with Newcastle. I think he played around 11 games under Rafa Benitez last season and all that, and he did quite well. What I watched him, what saw him, because I watched him quite a few times last season. I think he also had loan spells in Scotland with Kilmarnock. I think he also had a loan spell with Blackpool. So we are hopeful we can get a deal concluded for Sean Longstaff sometime this week and all that. But yeah, I want to give you some more additional information in regards to Bruno Fernandes. Now, obviously, Bruno Fernandes is going to cost quite a bit more than Sean Longstaff, and obviously comparing Bruno Fernandes and Sean Longstaff, obviously Bruno Fernandes is more experienced and all that, but we do know Sean Longstaff is going to be a cheaper solution. Now, I do believe I think Bruno Fernandes' move now to Manchester United, actually could be dependent on what happens with Paul Pogba, because Sporting Lisbon are saying, they want around 60 or 70 million pounds for Bruno Fernandes, and a lot of reports came out last week saying that we was reluctant to pay up to 60 or 70 million pounds. So maybe we do need to offload a couple of players to generate funds to actually fund the move for Bruno Fernandes. But I've been reading up reports this morning, and it did say we're trying to get Bruno Fernandes for a fee as low as we possibly can. So it did basically say we've lodged a bidding of around 35 million pounds for Bruno Fernandes. Sporting Lisbon have reportedly turned this bid down, because like I said, they want somewhere in the region of around 60 or 70 million pounds and all that. But like I said, I'm hopeful we can get the deal concluded for Bruno Fernandes sometime this week. Obviously, reflecting back last week, we had a lot of negotiations with Bruno Fernandes' agent. So basically, we held more extensive talks with his agent over getting a deal concluded. Obviously, it also reported out last week, saying that Liverpool had been in negotiations with Bruno Fernandes' agent, because obviously we do know that Liverpool had been in for him. Obviously, it reported out a couple of weeks ago saying that Liverpool had lodged around the €45 million bidding for him. Obviously, that equates to £40 million pounds sterling, but we do obviously believe that figure's going to be actually nowhere near enough, to convince Sporting Lisbon, to offload him. Obviously, it confirmed a couple of weeks ago, that Tottenham had been in negotiations with Bruno Fernandes' agent. So it did say Tottenham had stepped up their interest and all that. Obviously, Tottenham want to do transfer activity this summer, and I think actually, Tottenham are orchestrating on spending fairly big this summer on players, because obviously, like I said, they haven't done any transfer activity in the last couple of windows. Obviously, Tottenham, Mauricio Pochettino wants back in this summer, and quite a few players have been on Tottenham's agenda. And obviously, Christian Eriksen's been linked to a move to Real Madrid. I think he's actually been linked to a move to Manchester United. There were more talks going on over the weekend about Christian Eriksen. Do I believe he's coming to Manchester United? Probably not. But obviously, if Christian Eriksen does leave Tottenham, obviously, Tottenham are going to want an adequate replacement for him. So they have been in there for Bruno Fernandes. Tanguy Ndombele, of course, is one of Tottenham's main priority targets. I still believe Manchester United are in there for him, but I don't think Tanguy Ndombele will come to Manchester United. So I would say more than likely he's now out of the equation. Obviously, Tottenham have been in there for Giovanni Lo Celso. But anyway, now reports have confirmed now, allegedly saying that it is only now Manchester United in the running for Bruno Fernandes, because I was reading talks about yesterday, and they've now said Liverpool, Tottenham, and obviously, as it did get confirmed a couple of weeks ago now, that Manchester City have all withdrawn their interest now. So it's only Manchester United now in the running for Bruno Fernandes. But Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is keen on recommending him in to Manchester United. Obviously, a lot of reports reflected out last week saying that he instructed Ed Woodward to speed up a deal to sign Bruno Fernandes, and I do believe Bruno Fernandes would be a fantastic, adequate replacement for Paul Pogba. Bruno Fernandes would win us them goals that we do need in that midfield and all that. Last season he scored 31 goals for Sporting Lisbon last season in all competitions, and I think he provided about 13 assists. So if he does come to Manchester United, he'll rejuvenate the team, he'll bring us them goals that we need in that midfield, he'll add depth in that in our midfield, and like I said, he's still got a hell of a lot of development in him. Like I said, he served a couple of years in Portugal. He has teared up in Portugal really, really well. Bruno Fernandes hasn't really played to the highest level as yet, but him coming to the Premier League is going to rejuvenate his career, and of course it's going to take his footballing career to the next level. Obviously, Bruno Fernandes did spend the majority of his career in Italy when he was younger. Obviously, he played with the likes of Sampdoria in Udinese. I think he also played for Novria. But I think Bruno Fernandes actually, from his own preference, is keen on making a move to Old Trafford. he believes from his own perspective it will be beneficial for his career. But he did say, he's attracted to the history and mystique of Manchester United. Is Bruno Fernandes, because we have got a fantastic history, and I know we have been a toxic club, like I said, for the last 5 or 6 years. We've been a toxic club, since Alex Ferguson retired. And the main factor reason why we have been a toxic club, because we've been mismanaged, and this is the main factor reason, of course, why we've been underachieving. We've had different managers with different philosophies. A hell of a lot of money's been invested into the club. We've seen players come in, and of course we have seen players depart the club and all that. So looking at Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is still in the process of rebuilding, and we haven't won much silverware since Alex Ferguson retired. We didn't win out under the David Moyes era. Obviously we won the FA Cup under Louis van Gaal era, won the Europa League and League Cup under the Jose Mourinho era. Obviously we won the Europa League and League Cup in Jose Mourinho's first season. Obviously he spent just under £400 million at the club on 11 players, but obviously the reasons why it obviously didn't work out under Jose Mourinho, even though he's got that he's got that proven pedigree of a winner and all that, because obviously he had bad disputes with the board. Reflecting back last summer, the board weren't backing the signs that Jose Mourinho wanted to recommend to come in, because last summer our priority was to recommend a central defender to come in. And like I said, he had bad disputes with the board. He also had bad disputes with the players. So these are the key reasons why it didn't work out under the Jose Mourinho era. But the only players that are Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's at this moment in time is obviously Daniel James from Swansea and Wan-Bissaka, of course, from Crystal Palace. But obviously the rest of it is still inheriting 11 of Jose Mourinho's players. There's still players from the Van Gaal era he's inheriting. There's still Matty from the David Moyes era, and obviously there's still 4 or 5 players here from the Alex Ferguson era. So there is actually still lots to address in the squad, like I currently said. But Bruno Fernandes, I'd love him to come to Manchester United. I'd love him to come and experience these facilities and all that. And I think he would do well. He'd succeed definitely in the Premier League, because he's got all the attributes to definitely succeed. He's still under contract with Sporting Lisbon until 2023. But recent reports have said today that we have reportedly had around a £35 million bid turned down for him and all that. So that's according to recent reports. So probably our next 2 signings are going to be Bruno Fernandes from Sporting Lisbon and Sean Longstaff from Newcastle. And obviously, we're in the market for a replacement for Paul Pogba if he does leave the football club. Obviously, we need a replacement for Ander Herrera. Now, potentially there's been quite a few other midfielders mentioned, and now, Youri Tielemans has been spoken about, and I think the vast majority of Manchester United fans, would actually, like to see Youri Tielemans, come in, because Youri Tielemans is actually, a really, really good player. He's proven in the Premier League. I think he breaks up the play well, his tenacity is really, really good. Obviously, he had 5 or 6 months of experience under his belt in the Premier League, because obviously Youri Tielemans had been on loan, with Leicester, since January and all that. Obviously now has returned to Monaco, because obviously his loan spell with Leicester has come to an end. I was reading reports about Youri Tielemans the other week, and it did actually say that he did currently say that he will not. He said he will not be staying with Monaco next season. And I think again, Youri Tielemans' move to Manchester United is dependent on what happens with Paul Pogba. Obviously, we are seeing Youri Tielemans as an adequate replacement for Paul Pogba. Youri Tielemans is only 22 years of age. Obviously, he's still got a hell of a lot of years ahead of him and all that. I think also Tottenham have expressed an interest in him. Also, Manchester City have been in there for Youri Tielemans. I think at one point Arsenal, inquired about his services. But yeah, very, very good player. Can score goals, can provide. I think he would be the perfect solution for Manchester United. I was reading recent reports up about it though, and it did say, we have rejected the opportunity to sign Youri Tielemans, even though reports were speculating now a couple of weeks ago saying that we'd revived our interest in Youri Tielemans. It did say we'd been in negotiations with Youri Tielemans' agent over getting a possible deal concluded. And reportedly, he's rated at around £40 million, and this is what Monaco are valuing at. So that's a reasonable figure, and all that is 40 million. He is under contract with Monaco until 2022. I think also Manchester United were tracking Youri Tielemans when he was a youngster, and when he was younger at Anderlecht, when he was obviously quite a lot younger. Man United were tracking him then, because obviously Monaco did pay around £21 million for his services from Anderlecht, and I think he did join Monaco in 2017. So obviously he's had experience under his belt in France. Obviously has had 5-6 months of experience under his belt in the Premier League. So, but I think Leicester have actually been keen on getting Youri Tielemans on a permanent deal and all that. Leicester have been in talks with Monaco about this. I think it's initially in Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's plans, initially in Leicester's plans, to actually link up Youri Tielemans with James Maddison in their midfield, because probably Leicester do believe they'll blend in really, really well together, and they probably believe that they'll complement each other really, really well. But yeah, I'm hopeful that we can. I hope that Youri Tielemans does come to Manchester United and all that. So we've seen him as a replacement for Paul Pogba. I think the vast majority of Manchester United fans as well, would like to see, James Maddison, coming from Leicester. Obviously, there has been quite a lot of talks about him, going on. I was reading reports quite a few weeks ago about James Maddison, and he did say, he allegedly wants to meet with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, because allegedly said he was interested in the move to Manchester United. Now, I think he did say he was interested in the move to Manchester United, but he did say he had reservations about joining the club, because obviously, we're not in a Champions League football for next season and all that. So he did say he had reservations about joining the club. But reports came out about this story 3 or 4 weeks ago saying that we emerged James Maddison as a priority target, and it did basically say that if Leicester were to sell him, they would want around £60 million. As like I said, probably Manchester United would be more than happy to pay that. It did say we'd made initial contact with James Maddison, regarding a possible move to Old Trafford this summer. He is only 22 years of age. He is primarily an attacking midfielder. Again, British, very, very good player. Can really good at creating opportunities and chances. Also can score goals. Can provide. Obviously proven that in his first season, last season in the Premier League with Leicester, because last season was his debut season in the Premier League. For Leicester last season, he scored 7 goals and provided 7 assists. So he was involved in 14 goals. He also created more chances than any other player in the Premier League, did James Maddison. So his stats are very, very impressive. He's got 4 years left on his deal with Leicester. Leicester did get him last summer from Norwich for around £20 million and all that. And he did serve a good couple of seasons in the Championship with Norwich. He actually began his career at Coventry, when he was younger, progressing up their ranks and all that. I also had a loan spell in Scotland, with Aberdeen. So I do like James Maddison a lot. So obviously, he's obviously been on our agenda. And obviously we do know that there's been a lot of midfielders on our agenda. We do know Adrian Rabiot was on our agenda, but obviously he's out of the equation now, because obviously he's going to Juventus. Like I said with Tanguy Ndombele, there may be still possible chance we're in for him, but I think it's more than likely he's off the equation now, because I'm reading reports last week, I think it was, saying that Tottenham are closing in on a £60 million deal for Tanguy Ndombele. Obviously there had been a lot of talks going on about that Giovanni Lo Celso. Haven't read much reports about him quite lately. Obviously reports are reflecting out, was it over a month ago now, saying that obviously Tottenham had lodged a bidding for him of around 53 million. Reportedly Real Betis had turned this down, because reportedly Real Betis are looking for somewhere in the region of around 70 or 80 million pounds if they are willing to offload Giovanni Lo Celso. I think he's got a release clause of around 88 million pounds. He's 23 years of age. He is Argentinian, but it did say at one point that Tottenham had emerged him as one of their priority targets. But it also said Manchester United had expressed an interest in him. Obviously last season was his first season with Real Betis. Obviously the majority of last season he was on loan with Real Betis. Obviously Real Betis did get him last summer, I think, from PSG. I think they paid the initial loan fee, was it, of around £2 million. Obviously they made the deal permanent back in April, by paying around a further £20 million or something like that. So obviously now Real Betis have got him permanently. But if Real Betis of course do sell him, obviously, PSG do benefit from it, because obviously PSG do get a percentage of any sale. Of course, I think PSG do get around a 20%. Do get a percentage of around 20% or something like that. So it does say Manchester United and Tottenham have also been in for him. So there has been so many midfielders on our current agenda. I also believe that we need a holding midfielder, because obviously Fellaini left back in January. The Nemanja Matic is too inconsistent, he's too slow, he's aging up, and I've got strong reservations about him. So I think actually we need to get rid of Nemanja Matic. Also to Scott McTominay, where he's too inexperienced at the moment. I think he needs to gain a bit more experience, even though McTominay, did prove himself towards the back end of last season. He did put some good performances in, but I still don't know if he's the long-term solution for Manchester United. We've also got Fred, and Fred is actually one of our most expensive players. Is he our fourth, or is he our fourth most expensive player or something like that, Fred, but he hasn't really got that proven pedigree as Fred, don't get me wrong, I thought it was a fundamental player for Shakhtar Donetsk, was Fred. Obviously we paid £50 million for him last summer, but what he did at Shakhtar Donetsk, he hasn't really replicated this since he come to Manchester United. I know towards the back end of last season, Fred, did prove himself really, really well, but I still I'm still sceptical about Fred, if you get what I mean. I still don't know if he's a long-term solution for Manchester United. And this is what I mean, with with Fred and Bruno Fernandes, you can't put Fred in Bruno Fernandes' calibre more level, and we paid £50 million for Fred. So I think we should just pay 60 or 70 million pounds for Bruno Fernandes, because I want us, to get the deal over the line. So yeah, like I said, I think we need a holding midfielder. Obviously we have been in for West Ham's Declan Rice, because obviously he's a defensive midfielder, can play as a centre back, but he's mainly a defensive midfielder. He's Declan Rice, but I think it's very unlikely that West Ham will sell him this summer. Manchester United have been in there for him. I think he's initially valued at around £50 million. He's only 20 years of age. He's Declan Rice, and he's well Premier League proven. Initially learned his trade in the Premier League. Obviously last season Declan Rice flourished under Manuel Pellegrini's guidance and all that. His performances were absolutely fantastic. Got a new long-term contract back in December of last year, so he's on the contract with West Ham until 2024. But he's been at West Ham a number of years. He's been their senior squad quite a few years, but he is only 20 years of age, and he has got a hell of a lot of development in him. So probably won't leave West Ham this summer. But obviously Declan Rice at some point in his career is going to rejuvenate his career, and of course take his footballing career to the next level. He breaks up the player very, very well. He's energetic. His tenacity is really, really good. So I do believe Declan Rice, would be the right solution for Manchester United. So obviously, we have been in for him. So we do need to add at least a couple of reinforcements in that midfield. But as I was saying, I do believe I think probably 3 or 4 players are expected to leave this summer, maybe 5. We know Valencia's left the club after serving 10 years with Manchester United. Obviously, we've got the replacement in for him with Wan-Bissaka. Obviously, Ander Herrera's left on a free transfer. Darmian and Rojo looking very imminent that they're going to be leaving the football club, and I think we can generate around 25 or 30 million pounds for their departures. Like I said, with Alexis Sanchez, I'm still kind of sceptical of Sanchez leaving him at the moment, because I think the club are doing everything they can to offload Sanchez, but I think we are finding it really, really difficult. And I think the main reason why we're finding it difficult, to offload Alexis Sanchez, reflecting on his substantial wages. Like I said, his wages are having a really bad effect on the football club. Obviously, Sanchez on 400 grand a week, potentially rising up to £500,000 a week, based on the image rights and the bonuses and all that. So we're finding it difficult to get rid of him permanently, and I think, like I said, his wages are having a really bad effect on the football club. He's the highest paid player at the club. He's the highest paid player in the Premier League and all that. Like I said, on 400 grand a week, potentially rising up to 500 grand a week. Sanchez has been here since January 2018. Hasn't been the fundamental player as we all thought he would have been. Especially reflecting back what he did at Arsenal. He had 4 great years with Arsenal. He also even played under Guardiola's guidance, when he was younger at Barcelona, and he flourished under Pep Guardiola's guidance, but he hasn't replicated this at Manchester United, and he's 30 years of age, or is he 31 years of age now? He's one of them. He doesn't have a future at the club, and obviously, he has lost that yard of pace as Sanchez, so I think we need to do everything we can to get rid of him. I think the only way we can get rid of him is probably putting him out on a long season loan. Putting him out on a long season loan, with then Manchester United coming to some kind of agreement of willing to pay him half his wages off. But we've definitely got to get rid of Sanchez, because he's one of the problematic players at Manchester United, and I think he's become injury prone since he's come to Manchester United, to be quite honest with you. We do know De Gea's staying now. That's one thing guaranteed. We also do know now that Juan Mata's staying. That's another thing guaranteed and all that. Because at one point it was looking very imminent that De Gea was going to be going. At one point it was looking very imminent, that Juan Mata was going to be going. But we do know now De Gea and Juan Mata are staying at the football club. But as I have been updating you on a regular basis with in regards to Paul Pogba, now I've just said to you, the players who could replace Paul Pogba at Manchester United. But I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer knows how much of an imperative player that Paul Pogba is. He knows how imperative Paul Pogba is. So Solskjaer does actually want to convince him to remain at the football club. But I was reading reports up about Paul Pogba yesterday. To be quite honest with you, I'm sick of hearing the rumours. He did say Paul Pogba is set to ask Ole Gunnar Solskjaer to let him leave, and he did reportedly say that Paul Pogba will make a personal plea to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer to allow him to leave Manchester United and all that. I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and Paul Pogba are set to hold negotiations regarding Paul Pogba's future, but Paul Pogba's blatantly made it clear he wants to leave the football club. Obviously got confirmed a couple of weeks ago, he said to reporters in Tokyo, that he's seeking for a new challenger and all that. Obviously wants to rejuvenate his career, and he even publicly admitted, that he wants to leave Manchester United this summer, for the first time, and he even did say he was willing to go on strike, to force a move away from Manchester United and all that. So we do know he's been relentlessly linked to a move to Real Madrid and Juventus, so it is Real Madrid and Juventus that are battling now for his services. Obviously, we've put a huge transfer fee on Paul Pogba, and we've indicated initially that he isn't for sale, but he did say we would accept a bid in the region of around £150 million. But like I said, if we sell Lukaku and Pogba, it'll help us with our rebuilding process. It will also help us with our transition. And like I do believe, we can generate around £200 million, for their departures and all that. But I think we'll find it difficult, to offload Pogba and Lukaku at this moment in time, reflecting on the huge transfer fees that we have, obviously, put on both players. Obviously, Pogba cost us 89 million, our most expensive sign. Obviously, Lukaku cost us 75 million, obviously our second most expensive sign and all that. But I think, we do need to get rid of them. But like I said, Paul Pogba's been heavily into a move to Real Madrid and Juventus, and I think he was initially Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's plan, to actually, build a side around Paul Pogba. But maybe the couple of main factors why Paul Pogba, wants to leave the football club, because maybe he wants to be playing amongst better players, and he isn't getting this at Manchester United, and he isn't getting the service at Manchester United that he wants required. Maybe he wants to be in Champions League football, and we're not in Champions League football for next season. Maybe he wants to be competing. Maybe he wants to be winning silverware, and of course he's experiencing none of this at Manchester United. So obviously, wants to rejuvenate his career. Does Paul Pogba? But reports have been coming out in the last couple of weeks saying that the likes of Juventus have stepped up their interest and all that. Obviously, Juventus have previously held a negotiation with Paul Pogba's agent Mini Raiola. It also confirmed the other week that the Juventus director had travelled to London, to hold negotiations with Paul Pogba, with Manchester United over the possibility of re-signing Paul Pogba. And Juventus, director, was explaining the other week, of how much Juventus do love Paul Pogba, because obviously he did well. He had 4 years in Turin, and he exceeded expectation levels and all that, and did really, really well. But he hasn't really replicated this form, since he did make the return to Manchester United and all that. He hasn't really replicated this form. But I think more than likely Juventus would probably have to offload a couple of their players, at least one or two of their essential players to fund the move for Paul Pogba, because I doubt that Juventus would be able to afford him outright, because obviously Juventus are doing good business in this window so far. They're doing really, really good business in this window. Juventus, they've got De Ligt on the board. I think they've got Adrian Rabiot on the board. Obviously they've already got Aaron Ramsey on the board and all that. So they are doing really, really good business in this window, Juventus. So maybe they would have to offload at least one or two of their players to fund the move for Paul Pogba. And I was reading a lot of reports last week about Pogba, and he was saying that he's keen on making the return back to Turin, even though we do know for a very long time, or for quite some time should I say, that Paul Pogba's first choice preference has been Real Madrid, and his likely destination has been Real Madrid and all that. But Real Madrid have blatantly made it clear, they're not willing, to pay up to £150 million for him. So I think Real Madrid are orchestrating something now. Obviously, they are willing to offer, I think, one or two of their players of Real Madrid, as part of the deal to lure Paul Pogba away from Manchester United and all that. But I think, obviously, Real Madrid have done good business so far this summer. They've got 5 players on the board. They've spent, I think, over £300 million now. Obviously, they paid £150 million of that 300 million on Eden Hazard. So I don't think it's in Real Madrid's plans, to spend another £150 million on Paul Pogba. Obviously, it's one of Zinedine Zidane's main priority targets and all that. Obviously, quite some time ago, though, Paul Pogba did say at some point in his career he wants to play for Real Madrid because he's keen on playing under Zinedine Zidane's guidance. He'll probably believe he'll flourish under Zinedine Zidane's guidance. And also, Paul Pogba did classify Real Madrid as one of the biggest clubs in the world, and he also said he dreams of playing for Real Madrid. And Paul Pogba's still got a lot of years ahead of him. He's 26 years of age. He's basically still in his prime and all that. But like I said, still got a lot of years ahead of him. Paul Pogba still has got 2 years remaining on his contract with Manchester United in his current deal, with an option to extend by a further year. Reports came out a couple of weeks ago saying that we were reportedly willing to offer him a long-term contract, worth up to £500,000 a week. It also mentioned something about handing him a loyalty bonus. I think today he was set to be handed this loyalty bonus. I think the payments worth almost around £4 million. I'm not too sure if it's to convince. If it's any chance of convincing Paul Pogba to remain at the football club and all that. Came out about 4 or 5 weeks ago now, was it, saying that we was willing to offer Paul Pogba the captaincy in a bid to convince him to remain at the football club. But Paul Pogba's agent Mini Raiola has been working on trying to get Paul Pogba's transfer to Real Madrid completed at least for the last couple of months now. It's been subject to a hell of a lot of transfer speculation. Paul Pogba at the football club has won the Europa League and the League Cup. Obviously that came in his second season with Manchester United, and probably he's frustrated with the lack lack of competitiveness at the club. Obviously, Paul Pogba had a bad relationship with Jose Mourinho. This is why he was subject to a lot of transfer speculation last year. There was talks about him going to Juventus last year. There was also talks about him going to Barcelona, back in the January transfer window. But Paul Pogba got one of his best wishes, of course, when Jose Mourinho left the football club. And we have seen glimpses of Paul Pogba's best form. We mainly saw it in that 3-month period. When Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was the interim manager. He was in scintillating form. He was scoring goals, he was providing, but his stats were still very impressive last season. Even though when Solskjaer did get the job permanently, Paul Pogba's performances were inconsistent. I think last season he scored 16 goals and provided 11 assists in around 47 games in all competitions for Manchester United. But yeah, I do believe we need to offload him. Obviously, we do need to bring an adequate replacement in for Paul Pogba, and I think, Bruno Fernandes is the number one. Obviously, Gareth Bale, Real Madrid, are willing to offer as Gareth Bale as part of the deal for Paul Pogba, but obviously, you do know now I've got strong reservations about Gareth Bale. If you'd have asked me a couple of years ago, I would have probably took Gareth Bale at Manchester United, but I've got concerns about him now. I think he's 30, he's here sometime this month, he's 30 years of age. I think he's 29 at the moment. Obviously, Real Madrid did confirm last season, towards the back end of last season, that Gareth Bale is no longer in their plans and all that. And obviously Zinedine Zidane did declare that Gareth Bale has no future with Real Madrid. But Gareth Bale has been relentlessly linked to a move to Old Trafford since 2012, 2013, and the rumours, of course, have continued to persist since then. But like I said, I'm sceptical of Gareth Bale coming anywhere. I don't want Gareth Bale at Manchester United because, like I said, even though his ratio is still very, very good, he scored 102 goals in 231 games for Real Madrid in his 6-year spell there, and I think he's provided about 60 odd assists, so that's still very, very impressive. But I've got concerns because he's injury prone. Is Gareth Bale. I know he can play on the left. He can also play on the right. And obviously, Manchester United do need a winner. And like I said, I'm still sceptical of Manchester United, bringing a right winner ring. But I think there's obviously been other wingers on our agenda. Like I said, the likes of Nicolas Pepe, Jadon Sancho, would be a much better solution than Gareth Bale and all that. Because obviously, them players have got a lot more development in them than Gareth Bale. And Gareth Bale has been inconsistent for Real Madrid, at least in the last couple of seasons. I still think he's got 3 years left on his deal with Real Madrid as Gareth Bale, if I'm right. I think he's on the contract with them until 2022. Obviously, he did well in his 6 years with Tottenham, when he was younger, because obviously he's had experience of playing in the Premier League, and he did well in his 6-year spell with Tottenham and all that. But like I said, I just don't want Gareth Bale at Manchester United, so I don't want him at Manchester United. I don't want to see him as part of the deal with Paul Pogba. Obviously, reports came out a couple of weeks ago saying that, we actually inquired about getting Gareth Bale on loan. It actually said, we was willing to pay a loan fee for him. It also said, we was happy to pay half of his wages off and all that. And it did say, this can, knock 50 million off Real Madrid's wage bill in the next 2 seasons, because it did say we'd inquired about getting him on a on-season loan with an option to extend by a further 12 months, but Manchester United would not consider getting Gareth Bale permanently, due to his fitness regime and all that. I think Real Madrid did say they want 75 million for him if they're willing to get rid of him permanently, but like I said, we won't pay 75 million. I don't think he's worth that now anywhere, and obviously, Real Madrid are basically, looking to recoup the majority of the money that they did pay for him from Tottenham, back in 2013 and all that, because Real Madrid did pay £85 million for his services, but I just don't want Gareth Bale at Manchester United. I read in reports the other day saying that also Real Madrid, could offer us Isco as part of the deal for Paul Pogba. Like I did say with Isco, I do like Isco a lot. I think he's had a fantastic career so far. Obviously, he spent the entirety of his career so far in Spain as Isco, but I just believe, from my own opinion, I believe, for my own opinion, that Isco would not fit Manchester United system, if that makes any sense. And I think if he did come to Premier League, Isco, I do believe he would succeed in the Premier League. I do believe he'd exceed expectation levels and all. So for example, if he went to Manchester City, I think he'd fit in Manchester City's system, but I don't think he'd fit in Manchester United's system. He is an attacking midfielder. Is Isco? He's still got a lot of development in him, because I think he's around 27 years of age, and maybe Real Madrid may have to offload quite a few of their players anyway, to make room for Paul Paul Pogba, so they may consider offloading Isco. There has been transfer speculation going on about him because obviously last season he was surplus to requirements at Real Madrid because he saw the majority of his appearances last season, on the bench, did Isco, especially under Santiago Solari. Isco's been at Real Madrid 6 years. I think he's played about 277 games for them in all competitions. Obviously he's won honours, including 4 Champions Leagues. Real Madrid did get him from Malaga, back in 2013 for around £27 million, and he actually began his career with Valencia. Did Isco, but like I said, I think he's played in various other positions before, but I think now he's primarily an attacking midfielder. But I just don't think Isco, would fit, Manchester United system. Discarding Isco as being part of any swap deal, he'd probably cost you around £100 million. I still think he's under contract with Real Madrid until 2022 and all that. But yeah, it did say Real Madrid, we're willing to offer him as part of the deal for Paul Pogba. But potentially, it's still not fully certain he will leave Manchester United, but obviously, he's made it clear, that he does want to leave the football club. Obviously, as I've been updating you on a regular basis in regards to Romelu Lukaku, now I've been giving you an update about him on a regular basis. Now, potentially, he's been relentlessly linked to move to Inter Milan as Romelu Lukaku. Now, as reports came out last week saying that obviously, Lukaku's agent had been in Milan. He'd held talks, with he'd been in Milan and he'd held talks over Inter Milan because Lukaku's agent is doing everything he can, to try and complete Lukaku's move to Inter Milan and all that. And I think from Lukaku's agent, does believe that Lukaku does want to leave Manchester United, and he's also confirmed that Inter Milan, of course, are still trying to sign Romelu Lukaku because obviously, is Antonio Conte's number one target. So I think now Inter Milan are willing to offload 2 of their players, to help them generate funds, to meet that £75 million valuation for Romelu Lukaku, because we blatantly made it clear, we want around £75 million for him. Obviously, this fee is proving to be problematic for Inter Milan at the moment, so this is why they're trying to sanction players off, to fund the move for Romelu Lukaku. So basically, we're looking to recoup the money that we did pay for him from Everton back in 2017, because we got him for £75 million. Obviously, there were several add-ons included in the deal, which did potentially rise to £90 million, and Lukaku still got 3 years left on his contract, and he's on around £250,000 a week. But potentially, we've said we want around £75 million for him. But I do believe that everything's been agreed, between Lukaku and Inter Milan, except the fee. It did say Lukaku has agreed the personal terms with Inter Milan. It also said he's agreed a deal with around £180,000 a week, and it also said, Inter Milan are willing to meet his wage demands. I think it allegedly said he's agreed a 5-year deal as Romelu Lukaku that will take him under contract to the San Siro until 2024. But the fee has not yet come to an agreement. But like I said, Antonio Conte has identified him as his number one target. Obviously, Lukaku is eager to play under Antonio Conte's guidance because he believes he'll flourish under Antonio Conte's guidance. And so Antonio Conte wants to get a deal over the line for him, but Lukaku recently described him as one of the best managers in the world. But reflecting back a couple of years ago, this is when Antonio Conte was the manager of Chelsea. He wanted Lukaku at that point when he was at Chelsea, but obviously he ended up making the move to Manchester United. But obviously a lot of reports came out last week. This was stemming from Sky in Italy, and they did say that Inter Milan, were willing to offer us a £9 million loan fee, to take Lukaku on loan for the next 2 seasons, with then the obligation to buy for a further £54 million. But obviously that mounts up to around £63 million in total. But obviously, more than likely, I did say Manchester United will reject that because we're not willing to let him go on loan. We're only willing to do business on a permanent deal and all that. But Lukaku's served 2 years at Manchester United. Like I said, he scored 42 goals in 96 games for the club in all competitions. Obviously, Lukaku was exceptional in his first season with Manchester United. But didn't really replicate that in his second season because obviously since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has been recommended in, obviously we do know that Marcus Rashford has been first choice ahead of Romelu Lukaku. has been first choice ahead of Romelu Lukaku and all that, and he has found himself service to requirements as Lukaku. And we did basically tell him a couple of weeks ago, that he can't leave Manchester United. I still believe Lukaku's ratio is very good in the Premier League, which it is. His pedigree is very, very good. He's scored a lot of goals in the Premier League, but I have got strong reservations about him. But there's been quite a few players on our agenda, who could, currently replace Romelu Lukaku. Obviously, Inter Milan have tried offering us Mario Icardi as part of the deal for Lukaku. They've also tried offering us Ivan Perisic plus cash for Lukaku, but obviously Manchester United, of course, had turned this down. But if Lukaku does leave the football club, who would you bring in, as his replacement? Now, there was a lot of talks going on about Wissam Ben Yedder from Sevilla yesterday. More additional information updated about him. And a lot of reports were sent out last week from the media saying that, we're interested in Wissam Ben Yedder, and I think we're only willing to make a move for him, of course, if Lukaku does leave the football club. So it does say we have everything agreed, to sign Ben Yedder if Lukaku, of course, does leave the football club. Wissam Ben Yedder, looking at it ultimately, he's technically a very, very good footballer. He's 28 years of age, so he's highly experienced. Obviously, he's French. He's served 3 years at Sevilla. I think Sevilla got him from Toulouse back in 2016 for around £9 million. Obviously, I think last season he was very, very impressive. I think he scored 30 goals and provided 11 assists in 54 games for Sevilla in all competitions last season and all that. So I do presume his goal scoring pedigree is supposed to be very, very good. He's still got 2 years left on his deal with Sevilla. I think his initial release clause is around £36 million. So he is available for a reasonable figure. But I think this came from a Spanish outlet yesterday. I think it was in the Sun. I can't remember the name of it, but it did say PSG and Barcelona have expressed their interest in Wissam Ben Yedder, but reportedly Wissam Ben Yedder, from his own perspective, favours a move to Old Trafford and all that. But I think Wissam Ben Yedder's move to Manchester United is dependent on what happens with Romelu Lukaku and all that. But like I said, under contract with Sevilla until 2021 and all that. But he does say Manchester United of course are in for him, and I do believe he would bring us them goals that we do need. It would be them goals that we do need, because that's something was lacking last season. Wasn't scoring enough goals. Wasn't ruthless enough in front of goals. So probably Wissam Ben Yedder, would be the right solution. I do believe he's got really, really good attributes. He hasn't played in the Premier League as yet, but 28 years of age, still got quite a bit of development in him. I do believe he's around 5'7". Is Wissam Ben Yedder. So Manchester United are in for him. But there's been quite a few players on our agenda who could replace Lukaku. Like I said, there's been a lot of talks going on in the last week or so now, about Patrick Emerick Aubameyang from Arsenal. Obviously, a lot of reports reflected out the other week, and this was actually stemming from Andy Goldstein, who's a presenter of TalkSport. He did say, Manchester United are interested in signing, Patrick Emerick Aubameyang. Interesting sign Patrick Emerick Aubameyang. Like I did say, I don't believe there is a lot of credibility in this. To be quite honest, I think the majority of this story, it's just the media speculating and mainly justifying their existence on the majority of this story. But Andy Goldstein did say Man United are interested in him. He did say we are preparing to pay up to £70 million for his services, and it allegedly said last week that this was coming from the Italian press, thing that Aubameyang had allegedly agreed a transfer to Manchester United and all that. But I do believe that Arsenal are open, to selling Patrick Emerick Aubameyang. They're open to selling him because obviously, Arsenal they've got a tight budget. They've only been given around £40 or £45 million to spend this summer. So obviously, Arsenal are going to want to offload quite a few of their essential players, to help them generate funds and rebuild their squad. I think Arsenal have blatantly made it clear, they do want at least around £56 million for Patrick Emerick Aubameyang if they're willing to offload him. So they'll be looking to recoup the money that they did pay for him from Borussia Dortmund back in January 2018. But I've always liked Patrick Emerick Aubameyang, especially during his Borussia Dortmund days. He's very good in the air, his finishing's good, he's technically a great footballer, he's got that endless potential, his goal scoring pedigree is absolutely fantastic. So I would take Aubameyang at Manchester United. Obviously he's 30 years of age now, he's got 2 years remaining on his Arsenal contract. I don't think he will be signing a new contract with Arsenal, but like I said, he's aging up because he's now 30 years of age. I think also there's been talks of Aubameyang, going to play in the Chinese Super League. I think allegedly said he'd been offered around 300 grand a week, you know, to play in the Chinese Super League and all that. But I don't see Aubameyang, you know, quite honest with you, you know, coming to Manchester United. Aubameyang, since his arrival at Arsenal in the Premier League, has made 49 appearances and scored 32 goals, which is very impressive. Last season, scored 22 goals in the Premier League in 36 Premier League appearances. Obviously, you know, won the Golden Boot. Did Aubameyang, you know, last season he won the Golden Boot. Did Aubameyang, and he was, you know, the joint top goal, Premier League's joint top goal scorer alongside, you know, Mohamed Salah and Sadio Mane and all that. But like I said, I like Aubameyang a lot. He's predominantly a central striker, but can also play out wide. So he can play on the left. He can also, you know, play out on the right. So I would love the, you know, the prospect, you know, of linking Aubameyang up, you know, with the likes of Rashford and Martial. And I do believe he would, Aubameyang, you know, would make, if he did come to Manchester United, I do believe he would make a sort of similar impact, you know, to as Robin Van Persie did, you know, when we did sign Van Persie from Arsenal, you know, back in 2012 and all that. Van Persie was fantastic for Manchester United, you know, in that 2013 season, you know, in Alex Ferguson's last season, you can quite frankly say Van Persie won us the league, you know, reflection on the goals and that he scored. But yeah, Man United and Arsenal have done business in the past. You know, we got Sanchez back in January 2018 as part of a swap deal with Mkhitaryan. And, you know, obviously Arsenal got Danny Welbeck from us, was it around 4 or 5 years ago now. So, yeah, there has been a lot of talks going on about Aubameyang. Obviously, you know, Paul Dybala has been on Manchester United's agenda. You know, do you think he'd be a good replacement for Lukaku? Like I updated you yesterday with in regards to Antoine Griezmann from Atletico Madrid. Obviously, it still does say we are orchestrating on, you know, hijacking Barcelona's move for Antoine Griezmann. According to recent reports, it's looking very likely that Griezmann will be making the move to Barcelona. I think it did say, you know, we're actually attempting to convince Griezmann that actually Barcelona's leading target is actually, you know, Neymar. And you know, we basically said, you know, you're Barcelona's second choice, because obviously Barcelona want to get Neymar back and all that. But I think Griezmann's release clause has reduced today to around 106 or 107 million pounds. Initially, his release clause was around 170 odd million, but like I said, I think it has reduced today and all that. But you know, Manchester United are still in there for Griezmann. There was reports coming out about this quite a few weeks back saying that we were set to hijack Barcelona's move. It even said we was willing to smash our own transfer record by offering around 95 million pounds for his services. But he'd probably make the move to Barcelona. At one point, it did say Barcelona had reservations, you know, about, you know, bringing Antoine Griezmann in and all that. He said they had reservations, but he said they were having second thoughts and all that. And you know, Griezmann increasingly, you know, become frustrated with this. But Griezmann made the admission a month or so ago now, you know, that he's going to be leaving Atletico Madrid. But I think he'll make the move to Barcelona. Reportedly, Griezmann has agreed a 5-year contract with Barcelona. I think with around 15 million a year. I think he's also, you know, agreed the personal terms and all that. But I think Barcelona did say they will trigger his release clause, which is around 107 million pounds now. Obviously, Griezmann was on the verge of joining Barcelona last summer, but obviously, Griezmann remained loyal to Atletico Madrid, and he signed a new contract with them. He's under contract with them still until 2023. But we was on the verge of getting Griezmann a couple of years ago, but due to the transfer ban, he's moved to Manchester United. Never materialised. And obviously, Griezmann so far has spent the entirety of his career in Spain. It'll be looking likely still he will continue applying his trade in Spain. He's been at Atletico Madrid 5 years. He scored 133 goals in 257 games for them in all competitions. And you know, the main reason why I said he probably wants to leave Atletico Madrid anyway, because he's frustrated with the lack of competitiveness, really. You know, because the only major honour he has won at Atletico Madrid, obviously, I think was the Europa League last year and all that. But so far, has spent the majority of his career in Spain. So do believe Griezmann will make the move to Barcelona. He's 28 years of age and he has still got a lot of development in him. But I wouldn't be keen on Manchester United bringing him in now. You know, he's not the fundamental player as he was a couple of years ago and all that. So, like I said, you know, still lots to address in the squad, and I hope it does work out under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Like I said, I really hope it works out under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. I said he was a great player for Manchester United for 11 years. You know, he flourished under Alex Ferguson's guidance for 11 years with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and you know, he is following Alex Ferguson's philosophy and all that. And obviously, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer he's worked out his policy, and he's pursuing young players and all that. So basically, Solskjaer believes he's following a policy, you know, that that proved successful under Alex Ferguson. That's obviously, bringing young players in that can grow, develop, and emulate in superstars and all that. But, he hasn't really got the experience of a manager, not to the highest level. He has got some experience of a manager, but like I said, not to the highest level. He did win a couple of Norwegian titles with Oldham and all that. Obviously, he was at Cardiff, but he only had a short tenure with Cardiff and all that. I think he only managed, was it around 29 or 30 games for Cardiff, before he actually, got sacked and all that, But Solskjaer knows the club inside out, and I hope he's got the abilities and, the stature, to get us in that commanding position, of course, where we do currently want to be. But we need to see vast improvements going on into this season. So like I said at the beginning of the video, I'm very, very hopeful, that we can get 2 deals concluded this week, and hopefully them 2 players are going to be Sean Longstaff from Newcastle and Bruno Fernandes from Sporting Lisbon. So anyway, guys, drop your comments, likes below on this channel. If you do consider subscribe, as always, and take care, God bless, and I'll see you all again very, very soon. Thanks for watching.